Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Reflecting Shakespeare TV. I'm so glad you've joined us. My name is Erika, and I'm the programs manager and facilitator for the Old Globe's Reflecting Shakespeare program, which is a performing arts course that we've been bringing to people experiencing incarceration for a few years now. So this program is designed to go inside while we cannot. So let's do this and bring on my co-facilitators, James and Nikki. Hey, you two.
Yeah.
Hey!
Hello.
Yes, we made it. Here we are, people showing up as we do, doing Reflecting Shakespeare. I love it. So, hi, everyone. My name is Nikki. I'm formerly incarcerated and have been working with the Old Globe and facilitating Reflecting Shakespeare for a little bit over a year, and I'm still at it. Woo! James.
All right. It's great to see everybody. As Nikki said, my name is James. I'm a facilitator on the Reflecting Shakespeare program at the Old Globe. The seats are behind me right here. But without further ado, and more importantly, let's welcome our guests for this week and welcome back Eric. Yes.
Yay!
There he is.
Hey,
Yes.
Hey.
Hey, Eric, it is great to have you back with us. Thanks for joining us again today. Can you just remind the audience a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. First and foremost, it's great to be back 100%. Definitely. So about myself, let's see. Fun fact, and really not so fun. I'm formerly incarcerated. Just was released from prison in August of 2019 after serving literally over a third of my life incarcerated. Here's time for the actual fun fact. Through that journey of incarceration, I've definitely learned, and I want to encourage everybody else that's incarcerated or have that experience to know that your conditions do not define who you are. We are much greater, and we continue to be much greater, for sure. So just know, if you are incarcerated watching this is not the end, period. It's a lot more life to live, and you got a lot more life to contribute.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Eric. We really appreciate those words. All right. It looks like we are all here, including those of you who are watching. We're going to ask you to journal along with us as we go. So we invite you at this time, if you're able to get something to write with.
All right. You ready? So let's rock this.
All right, check-ins for the week. What are your challenges and triumphs? Folks watching, this is where we always start. Take stock with us. For those of us on screen, let's keep it lean.
I will go ahead and start first. Thank you. My low this week is I have been really going through a lot of different emotions and grieving, and the grief process is real, people. And if you're not familiar with the grief process, I encourage you to educate yourself with the grief process, because we've all grieved so many different things in our lives. It doesn't necessarily have to be only life loss. Of a lot of things that we grieve. So for me, I've been grieving a lot this week and being really self-aware of my emotions. My high for the week is that the youth that I work with are so resilient, and being able to be a part of their lives is so rewarding. I am so grateful for the youth that I work with on a daily, that I've been so blessed and fortunate enough to work with. So I will pass it on over to Eric.
Absolutely. My low for this week had some car troubles back to back. Man, I couldn't catch a break with these damn cars. But got it fixed, got it situated. My high, I have two, if that's okay. Or no, three really, now that I think about it, definitely. One was part of a fundraiser with Larry Krasner. That was like amazing. Got to work alongside of Layla Steinberg. That was Tupac's first manager, with Mike Sessions and Aim for the Heart, one of our organizations. And got to perform for Larry Krasner at a fundraiser. That was like super dope. He kicking up dust, and I'm like a fan of his. Secondly, today, as a matter of fact, was able to work with Wesleyan and a professor from Yale University, and kind of hijack their classroom with two other formerly incarcerated individuals from the East Coast, and that was like nuts. And then third is right here, right now, being in this moment, for sure, hands down.
Beautiful. Thank you, Eric. All right, I'll jump on. So my low is this week I realized it is almost exactly a year since I went to a live concert. almost a year, because I guess these COVID times and all of that. And I love going to concerts. That's kind of my thing. So that was kind of like a weird low marker in the week. My high this week has been allowing myself to take some time for myself to focus on some personal wellness. So addressing some diet stuff, addressing some exercise stuff, making that happen, and making sure that I've been playing music every day. I like to sit behind my drums and wail away, and I've been making sure that that's been happening every day. So that's been my high place to be at. Erika, what about you?
My low for the week is I don't have a low. I'm really grateful. I don't have anything low enough to call a low. And that itself is a high. So my highs are that we are getting ready to get our correspondence course out to Centinela. And not everyone has been rostered to the program that was there before, but I see enough familiar names that I feel really great. We're going to be connecting with those guys and new guys once again. And it feels like we're getting back on track, even if we're not in the room. We're going to be connected. And for all of you watching, what are your highs and lows, challenges and triumphs for the week? Take stock with us, get warmed up, because we're going to be journaling along as we go further on.
All right. Today's warm-up game is going to be called My Word for Today Is, and My Pose for Today Is. And so it goes like this. I'm going to say my name, then my word for today. Maybe it's a word that expresses how I feel right now. Maybe it's motivating me through my day. And then I'm going to add, for a little extra sauce and spice for everyone, we're going to add a pose that maybe goes along with it. And I want all of you watching, including my friends on the screen and those of you watching on as well, you're going to repeat back my whole routine to me. So I'm going to model it first to get us going. My name is James, and my word for today is excited. And my pose is... All right, here we go. I'm kind of count us in. 1, 2, 3. My name is James.
And my word for today is
excited.
Excited. And my pose is...
Yes. Awesome. All right, I'm going to throw that to Nikki.
All right. No, thank you so much. So my name is Nikki. The word for today is powerful. And my pose for today is...
Yes. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. My name
is Nikki.
And my
word for today is powerful.
And my pose
for today is...
Yes. Eric?
Absolutely. So my name is Eric, and my word for today is work. My word for today is work. And my pose is we're going to go crazy with work.
Yes. All right, here we go. I'm going to count us in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
My name is Eric. My word for today
is
work. And my
pose for today is...
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Erika.
All right. My name is Erika, and my word for today is grateful. And my pose for today is...
All right. 1, 2, 3. My name is
Erika.
And my
word for today is grateful. And my pose for today is...
All right. And all you watching along, don't think you're getting out of it. Now it's your turn to go. One of those words. And we want to pose.
Gonna do it.
Finish it off.
Awesome. All right.
Nice. Great job, everyone. Thanks for playing along with us. We really appreciate it.
I want to thank everybody for participating. Don't trip. Everybody ain't going to know you did it. You know you did it, though. That's all that matters. For real. But the beauty of this, though, for real, like it gets you out your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like I remember first going to Shakespeare and seeing like these warm-up games. It was like, oh yeah, everybody here is weirdos. What's going on? But I ain't gonna lie, secretly I wanted to get involved too, so I did. But when I finally did build up the courage to actually do it, it was so liberating. Like you ain't got to take my word for it. I encourage you to go try it. Like so serious. Forget what everybody think. Get out that shell, man. It's very liberating. You gonna feel a little more free. I promise you.
Well, now that we've warmed up our sense of play, let's get into our work. For this series of Reflecting Shakespeare TV, we are exploring Shakespeare's comedy, Much Ado About Nothing. And as always, our goal is to have fun with the story, but then dig into how what's going on with the characters relates to us right here, right now. All right, so Eric, why don't you help us set up the story?
So the army is on their way back home after a successful battle, and they're spending all the night at Lenato's grand house. Lenato is a well-respected man, father to Hero, a lovely young lady, and he is also the uncle and guardian to Beatrice, Hero's older and witty cousin. The visiting characters we've met so far are Don Pedro, the friendly prince and head of the army, and two of his respected soldiers, Claudio, who seems to have fallen in love at first sight with Hero, and Benedick, a witty bachelor who has been verbally sparring with Beatrice ever since they arrived. Clearly something has gone down between them in the past, but we don't know what.
Yeah, oh, awesome. Okay, so last week we left with Don Pedro, who's head of the army, offering shy Claudio to help him out, get that girl, to get Hero. So there's going to be a masked ball tonight. We're going to see that scene. And while Don Pedro is all masks, he's going to say he's Claudio, and he's going to sweet talk Hero. What could go wrong with that? Okay, so here we go. We're at the top of the party. It's before the party, and Leonardo has asked Hero and Beatrice if they've seen Don John. Now, who is Don John? Don John is Don Pedro's illegitimate half-brother. He was born out of wedlock. And especially in Shakespeare's time, that carries a real stigma. And as we know, if society labels you as something, that may affect your view on the world. So we'll see more from Don John later, but keep him in mind. For now, let's just see what's going on before the party. So James is going to play Leonardo. I'm going to play Hero. And Niki is going to play Beatrice. And then we're going to get into the party. And then James is going to switch up to Don Pedro. And Eric's going to join us as what? Benedick. But for now, James is Leonardo. I'm Hero, and our Niki is Beatrice. Let's just go for it.
Was not Count John here at supper?
How tartly that gentleman looks. I never can see him, but I am heartburned an hour after.
He is of a very melancholy disposition.
He were an excellent man that were made just in the midway between him and Benedick. The one is too like an image and says nothing, and the other two like my lady's eldest son, evermore tattling.
Then half Signor Benedick's tongue in Count John's mouth, and half Count John's melancholy in Signor Benedick's face.
With a good leg and a good foot, uncle, and money enough in his purse, such a man would win any woman in the world.
By my troth, niece, that will never get thee a husband, if thou be so shrewd of thy tongue.
Good. I could not endure a husband with a beard on his face. I had rather lie in the woolen.
You may light on a husband that hath no beard.
What should I do with them? Dress him in my apparel and make him my waiting gentleman? He that hath a beard is more than a youth, and he that hath no beard is less than a man. And he that is more than a youth is not for me, and he that is less of a man, I am not for him.
Well, Hero, I trust you will be ruled by your father.
Yes, faith, it is my cousin's duty to make curtsy and say, Father, as it please you. But yet for all that cousin, let him be handsome fellow, or else make another curtsy and say, Father, as it please me.
Well, niece, I hope to see you one day fitted with a husband.
Not till God make men of some other metal than earth. Would it not grieve a woman to be overmastered with a piece of valiant dust? No, uncle, all none. Adam's sons are my brethren, and truly I hold it a sin to match my kindred.
Daughter, remember what I told you. If the prince do solicit you in that kind, you know your answer. The revelers are entering. Make good room.
All right. And so the party starts and everybody puts on their masks. All right. So we've all got our masks on, very 2021 version.
Yes.
And so we're going to see a couple of couples take center stage. And the first one is James as Don Pedro, pretending to be Claudio, dancing with me, Hero.
Lady, will you walk with your friend?
So you walk softly and look sweetly and say nothing. I am yours for the walk. And especially when I walk away.
With me in your company?
I may say so when I please.
And when please you to say so?
When I like your favor.
Speak low, if you speak love.
And on we go dancing. And next comes Beatrice, played by Niki, and Benedick, played by Eric. And I think Beatrice might be able to tell that it's Benedick under that mask, but she's going to pretend like she can't.
Will you not tell me who told you so?
No. You shall pardon me.
Nor will you not tell me who you are?
Not now.
He said that I was disdainful and that I had good wit. Out of the 100 merry tales, well, this was Senor Benedick that said so.
What's he?
I'm sure you know him well enough.
No, not I. Believe me.
Did he never make you laugh?
I pray you. What is he?
Why, he is the prince's gesture, a very dull fool.
When I know the gentleman, I'll tell him what you say.
Do. He'll but break a comparison or two on me, which peradventure not marked or laughed at, strikes him into melancholy.
All right. Yay!
Oh man, I love the back and forth between
Let's
them.
take off our masks and unpack what happened. All right, yay! We did that. Awesome. Okay, so let's just unpack, make sure we know what happened in the scene. What do you guys think happened? What did you get? Start from the top.
I got one. The ladies think that Don John isn't bad looking, but he's not really too great to hang out with.
Absolutely.
I think like if I just played him, I feel like at the beginning of the scene, Leonardo is struggling with the people he's got around him, right? He's trying to get Hero set up maybe to get married. And then he's also dealing with Beatrice, who's full on like I am just doing my own thing. And that's how it is.
Well, yeah, and Beatrice is like, I'm not marrying anyone, period. No, not happening.
That another point. The dance. So Don Pedro started dancing with Hero, and the scheme is underway now.
Yeah, we'll find out if he's making it work.
Well, and the other part of the dance is Beatrice is dancing with Benedick and called him a fool under the safety of a mask, but really I don't think she cares, to be honest. But supposedly she doesn't know that it's Benedick, so we'll see how that turns out.
So, you're mentioning, Niki, the whole thing about the mask, under the safety of a mask. And mask dances happen a lot in Shakespeare, and then people get to feel really free, if they're not themselves and people don't know who they are. And of course, when we tried these little masks, we know who everybody is, but there seems to be this setup that, you don't know who you're actually with, and that creates a freedom. It makes me think a lot about the masks we wear in life generally, right? Not at mask balls. And I know that comes up a lot in class. And so I'm wondering what you guys have to think about that. What do you think about that?
I think we say it all the time, right? It's an expression that I say all the time. I laugh to keep from crying. That's a mask. I think a lot of the masks that people wear happen for different reasons. Sometimes it's taught. Growing up, I definitely was taught by plenty of people like men don't cry, we don't show our emotions, this, that, and the other, which ultimately kind of created a belief system in my head that had like a lot of toxic masculinity traits. You know what I mean? Wearing this mask, this false bravado, all these type of things. And with that came comfort as well, though. because I was getting received as such, and it wasn't my true identity. It wasn't who I really was. It was this mask at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that's something that we see all the time, and I think that's something that, to a certain extent, could be a cry for help sometimes. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know for myself personally, a lot of the things that I did, actions, speaking, thoughts even, that derived from wearing that mask, again, just wasn't in alignment with who I really am and where I really want to be.
Definitely. And thank you so much for sharing that, Eric. I think for me, when I think about masks, I think of all of the different things, and being practically raised inside of prison, right? Being there almost my whole life, from the age of 17 all the way to my early 40s. You think of masks and you think of just people and humanity in it and of itself, and how many different times we have gone through this life anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are, anywhere. A lot of times how we've placed masks on ourselves for survival, for safety, so that we don't feel vulnerable, so that we're not taken advantage of, and those exterior images that we like to portray. So for me personally, I always like to bring it back to, of course, I statements and be accountable. For me personally, I wore so many different masks, and the thing is being, I look back on it now, and some of the times I just didn't even know what my identity was. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't safe in my own skin. I wasn't comfortable with my own self. And ultimately it led to me immersed in an environment where I knew that I had to acclimate myself, and I had to be something maybe that I wasn't. I had to portray, to be stronger than I actually was. I had to embrace a mask that I wasn't even familiar with. Why? Because I realized now, looking back on it, I didn't even know who I was. And so it was very easy for me to put on so many different masks. And I look back and, not making blame, not making excuses. Definitely, I hold myself accountable for any and everything, but I look at it more so of survival. But then too, you think about it, and it's, growing up in environments and growing up in homes, how we have to wear masks. There's different roles for different families. There's different positions that we place ourselves in a lot of times. And I know for me, there was a lot of masks that I wore, growing up. And like I said, it was for survival. It was for safety. It was to fit in. It was to provide me that sense of loving and belonging, even if it was at a false expense of my own, unfortunately. But it was a desperate need and a strong desire that created that mask for me. So I'm able to see that today clearly.
Yeah, Niki, thank you guys for sharing that. I was thinking then about how many masks we might wear. And could there be a point? I think I've definitely had this where I may have almost forgot that I'm wearing them. You know what I mean? So that my remembering that I might need to take it off, or maybe even could take it off, to reveal maybe a personal truth or a real truth, that I became so far removed from that maybe I didn't even remember that I was wearing it anymore,
All right. Well, that was an amazing conversation, definitely. And that sets us up for our quick write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the quick write, and then we have something special. Ready? So the quick write is: behind my mask, I look. Behind my mask, I can. Behind my mask, I am. And behind my mask, I feel. And are there times that you are able to hang up your masks and be yourself? And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Eric.
Okay, let's get it. So, behind my mask, I look confident. Behind my mask, I can find a high when I'm low. Behind my mask, I am talented. And behind my mask, I feel a bunch of things. Let me get specific with it though. Behind my mask, I feel comfortable.
Beautiful.
And are there times that I'm able to hang up my mask and be me? Yes. I feel like I'm at a point in time where I really got to wear a mask. I'm definitely comfortable in my own skin, open book, all that. So yeah, I hang up my mask all the time.
Awesome. So with that being said, Eric, are you ready for me to bring a challenge for you?
Let's get it. What is
I
it?
know you got little mama like close, right by your side. I know she's there. I know you don't go far. A superhero never goes far without that sweet stuff. So I'm wondering if you're willing to bring on the challenge and sing this for us. How do you feel about that?
Oh, okay. Put me on the spot. Let's get it. All right. Challenge accepted.
Of course. There was no doubts.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make a beat here. Let's see how we coming. I do not know what beat I'm finna play, but I'm finna play it. Behind my mask. Behind this mask of mine, look, that I told you I put up all the time. Now I'm trying to talk in rhyme since this is Shakespeare. Look, hey, behind my mask, I look like I'm fine. Behind my mask, yeah, I could find a high when I'm low. Behind my mask, I'ma grow. Behind this mask, I feel like I'm home. Yeah. Hey.
All right. So as incentive out there, you send us your fill in the blanks, and maybe we can get Eric back and we'll do a song out of it. You know?
Yes.
Oh, we could do it.
Yes.
Possible.
No.
That would be the bomb.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're gonna get back to some Shakespeare.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for that, Eric. Always bringing that magic for sure. So let's go ahead and get back into the scene. So Don Juan, Don Pedro's sour-faced half-brother, has been watching his brother with his buddy Horatio. The party has pretty much moved inside except for Claudio. So Don John has overheard Don Pedro's sweet-talking hero and decides to meddle just a little bit. So let's see how that goes. So James, if you don't mind, you could play Don John. Eric will play Horatio. And Erika, if you don't mind, you could play Claudio. So when Don John and Horatio leave the scene, Erika, will you continue to play Claudio?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And then Eric will then play Benedick. Yes, thumbs up. Got that. All right, James will now play Don Pedro, and then I will continue to play Beatrice. And no one will play hero, but she is in the scene. Her presence is there.
I'm playing all the Dons apart from Don Johnson. I'm good. All right.
And Don Juan.
Don Juan.
Oh my God. This is why we can't record at night. We get too punchy.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Take it away, Don John.
Sure, my brother is amorous on hero. One visor remains.
And that is Claudio. I know him by his bearing.
Are you not Senor Benedick?
You know me well. I am Senior Benedick.
Senor, you are very near my brother, Don Pedro, in his love. He is enamored on hero. I pray you, dissuade him from her. She is no equal for his birth. You may do the part of an honest man in it.
How know you Don Pedro loves her?
I heard him swear his affection.
So did I too. He swore he would marry her tonight.
Come, let us to the banquet.
Thus answer I in the name of Benedick. But hear these ill news with the ears of Claudio. 'Tis certain so, the prince woos for himself. Friendship is constant in all other things, save in the office and affairs of love. Let every eye negotiate for itself and trust no agent. For beauty is a witch against whose charms faith melteth into blood. Farewell, therefore, hero.
Count Claudio?
Yeah, the same.
So, what fashion will you wear the garland of? You must wear one way, but the prince have got your hero.
I wish him joy of her.
But did you think that the prince would have served you this?
I pray you leave me.
Ho! Now you strike like the blind man. 'Twas the boy that stole your meat, and you beat the post.
If it will not be, then I'll leave you.
Alas, poor hurt fowl. Now will he creep into hiding? But that my lady Beatrice should know me and not know me. The prince is fool? Well, I'll be revenged as I may.
Now, Signor, where's Claudio? Did you see him?
Troth, my lord, I found him here melancholy. I told him, and I think I told him true, that your grace had got the goodwill of young hero.
The lady Beatrice hath a quarrel to you. The gentleman that danced with her told her she is much wronged by you.
Oh, she misused me. She told me, not thinking I had been myself, that I was the prince's jester.
Look, here she comes.
Will you grace your command me any service to the world's end? I will go on the slightest errand now that you can devise to send me on, rather than hold 3 words conference with this harpy. You have no employment for me. Like none?
None, but to desire your good company.
Oh God, sir. Here's a dish I love not. I cannot endure my lady tongue.
Come, lady, come. You have lost the heart of Signor Benedick.
Indeed, my lord, he lent it to me a while, and I gave him use for it, a double heart for his single one. Marry, once before he won it of me with false dice, therefore your grace may well say I have lost it.
You have put him down, lady. You have put him down.
So I would not he should do me? My lord, lest I should prove the mother of fools, I have brought Count Claudio, whom you sent me to seek.
Why, how now, Count? Wherefore are you sad?
Not sad, my lord.
How then? Sick?
Neither, my lord.
The count is neither sad, nor sick, nor merry, nor well. Something of that jealous complexion.
In faith, lady, I think your blazon to be true. Therefore I'll be sworn, if he be so, his conceit is false. Here, Claudio, I have wooed in thy name, and fair hero is won. I have broke with her father, and his goodwill obtained. Name the day of marriage, and God give thee joy.
Speak, Count, 'tis your cue.
Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. I were but little happy if I could say how much. Lady, as you are mine, I am yours. I give away myself for you and dote upon this exchange.
Speak, cousin. Or if you cannot, stop his mouth with a kiss, and let not him speak neither.
And then she plants one on him. Yay! They don't have to talk. They can smooch. All right. Great job. Let's get rid of all these filters and stuff and get talking about the scene. All right. Awesome. Great read. Okay, so let's unpack the scene and make sure we know what the heck happened there.
All right. So when we meet Don John, he meddles and he disrupts things. And he and Baraccio tell Claudio that Don Pedro wooed Hero and will marry her.
Yeah, Claudio gets well upset and moody.
Benedick checked in with Claudio, and Claudio kind of like takes it all out on him.
Mm-hmm.
And Beatrice gave Don Pedro the Benedick backstory. Like she dropped her bravado for a second and just came like straight from the heart.
Right. And then Don Pedro and Benedick have a moment where Don Pedro says, Beatrice is mad at him. And Benedick is like, what? He abused me.
Right. But by the end of the scene, everything gets cleared up. Don Pedro explains he actually did set Hero up with Claudio, not the way Don John got it all mixed up. And we get to play on Claudio's shyness and his lack of words. So the audience gets to watch this couple who haven't been saying much get all awkward with each other. And finally, that just ends with a kiss. Because who needs to talk if you can just kiss? It's not better. Right. All right. So let's talk here for a second, because I know as we were reading the scene and we had that whole thought about masks, one of the first things that came up was this moment with Beatrice.
I felt like we kind of got to see Beatrice's mask get penetrated a little bit. She got a little vulnerable. She got to pull that thing down just a little bit, not too much, not all the way off, but just enough to see that is a heart under there. It is a person that actually cares under there, not this more so like kind of cold, if we will, kind of cold person. Like I don't want to say heartless, but it's definitely a sense of callous there for sure, with the wittiness and things like that. So you kind of get to penetrate that a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that mask started to come down.
And I was thinking how she does that with Don Pedro. And that makes me wonder about what is it about Don Pedro or a Don Pedro type, that lets her do that.
Yeah. And then when it comes up, Benedick, though, from his perspective, is like, you didn't do anything, right? I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah. What do you think? You played Benedick there, Eric. What do you think it was like for Benedick to have Beatrice tell him he's a fool?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he felt pretty played. I'm pretty sure his feelings was hurt. You know what I mean? That's pretty hurtful to hear. If I think even like when you don't really care about the way somebody else's like feelings is towards you, it still doesn't feel good to hear anybody speak on you as if you're slow or as if you're stupid, a fool. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that possibly was like surprising for him and hurtful.
Right.
And the one thing that really stands out and is like really just kind of like awareness component of it is defense mechanisms and how they work for us when we're hurting, right? And how initially, it's been the banter, right? It's been the sharp wit, it's been the sharp tongue, it's been the zingers and I'm gonna get you, and who's going back and forth with these lines, right? And then just like Eric said, she kind of like started revealing herself a little bit, and under that was there just a little bit of pain, enough for her to have a clarity moment and be honest and truthful in her pain, right? And acknowledge that. And same thing with Benedick, like, I don't want to, I'm out of here. I don't want to, I can't, I think that's the one thing that really just kind of comes up for me. And when we talk about defense mechanisms, they come in so many different ways. Why? Because we want to balance that out and we want to allow ourselves to feel safe. So sometimes it's with the sharp wit, sometimes it's with so many different other tactics that we use to allow ourselves to feel so safe and not vulnerable.
Yeah, Niki, when you said that, I was just immediately thinking then about how when you've been hurt or you've been hurt, sometimes you have to work so hard maybe to show that you weren't hurt, right? Just to layer that, like, I'm going to respond like that didn't hurt me. And that's that's like real effort to make that happen.
And the scary thing about that is, as for somebody that has definitely caused harm or that has been hurt and had to wear so many different masks and had to come with those defense mechanisms, it's so unfortunate because a lot of times, it's like cutting in a wound and then just constantly scaving it to where it creates the callus, to where you just become so desensitized. And the only way that you can function, or the only way that I chose to function, was from a place of, like I was talking about earlier, was, just a defensive mechanism component, a mass component, a place of survival. And ultimately, from being so hurt, what did that create? It created me not wanting to get hurt, a fear of being hurt. And because of that, as a result of that, my choices were definitely even that much more harmful, because it became a desensitization for myself of never wanting to be able to feel that hurt or that pain or that fear or whatever that might look like. And so I can definitely relate to Beatrice and her responses to how she chose to handle and move forward with the situation with her and Benedick.
Well, all this talking about getting hurt makes me think about Claudio. Claudio has this speech in the middle of things. It's like, trust nobody, especially don't trust anyone in love. He's so hurt when he thinks that his friend has betrayed him. Very quickly, he finds out that he was wrong. And so he doesn't get to live in the world as this hurt person saying, I'll never trust again. That puts us in a place where we can wonder how his trusting and how trust will be an issue for him as the story continues, because he was tricked pretty easily and he put his trust in his friend pretty easily.
Yep. It's interesting that you bring all that up in this scene where there are people there in disguises, they're wearing masks. This is just a glimpse into that whole thing of like, can you take people at their word? Is there a mask in front of that? Does it mean something else?
Hearing this immediately, what comes to mind for me in response to like pain and how that causes people to lash out, it's a saying that I got from an OG of mine, Lonnie Morris. He started a group called No More Tears in San Quentin. And one of the things that they say is hurt people hurt people. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I think this is like an extremely evident display of that. You know what I mean? And that develops from like a bunch of the things y'all just talked about, from trust issues and people doing you wrong. And now you develop a different response to those type of things and a different mentality what ultimately alters your actions when those type of things take place. You know what I mean? So like, I see all that spawning from that. Hurt people. You know what I mean? So like, that's where my mind went with it.
Yeah, I definitely like, as I was talking earlier, it's just, and having this conversation, it's like I'm able to see it in so many different facets, especially functioning like that from that place on the inside. I just think that it's just so strong. I've heard that, Eric, so many different times, hurt people. And I think it definitely, there's 100% value and truth behind all of that, and what stands out to me more than anything is, the thing that we lack so much as a society, inside, outside, is just emotional intelligence. And I think the biggest thing is, so many of us have been, taught or learned or developed to a point to where we're not experiencing the truth of our emotions and not understanding what those emotions are, because a lot of us don't know. And I know it took me till I was late 30s to even understand what kind of emotions I had felt for so very long, because I masked those emotions with the with the anger, those easy emotions that were not truth. That wasn't the truth. That wasn't the only emotion that I felt was anger. Learning and identifying what those emotions are early on helps us, and it allows us to develop different ways to cope and deal and work through and with those emotions in our life, so that they don't cause a lot of destruction. Just being able to identify and address that emotion for the truth of what it is helps us as a human being, helps me definitely, for sure, as a human being, be able to function from a healthier spot, because I'm able to identify the true raw emotion that I'm suffering from, or that I'm enduring. As we're having this conversation, it's amplified even that much more louder to me, because I'm able to see how I myself was in a community and in an environment to where, nobody wanted to talk about the true emotion that we were feeling. And that was from the time we had experienced childhood traumas all the way up until ultimately what led us to committing a crime that harmed society.
Whew. There was something that you said, Nikki, the other day that actually James started touching on today and was coming up in conversation in our break. When you don't even know you are wearing a mask.
I feel like for me, when James first brought that up, it definitely made me reflect on like several people that I know, you know what I mean, that I know very, very well. And I've seen them lose their sense of identity and get lost into this mask, you know what I mean? And it's very like disheartening to see people that, when like the potential that they have to take another route. And at the end of the day, it's due to that mask. It's due to wanting to be accepted, so many other different things. And it's just very disheartening and discouraging sometimes to see people that you care about kind of go through that. And that's where it took my mind at. It made me reflect on that. Just seeing the ups and downs. I think sometimes it is an upside to wearing a mask. Kind of like what Nikki was saying, for survival purposes, 100%, definitely. But at the end of the day, like I've seen a lot of the bad sides and downsides to it. So that's where my mind initially goes to when it comes to wearing masks and things like that. But as far as like getting lost in it and things like that is a hell of an experience. I feel like I've definitely got lost in wearing a mask on several occasions, for sure, especially being in prison, before prison, just being young, you know what I mean? And just that desire to be accepted, that desire to just feel like I'm worthy of acceptance and things like that, for sure pushed me to wear a mask on several occasions. And it got to the point, again, prior to committing my crime, to the crime that I committed and being convicted for all the time that I was convicted for, like leading up to that, a lot of that was embodying this mask, you know what I mean? And forgetting that it's on and not really knowing how to take it off, you know? So definitely.
Yeah, you brought up something there, Eric, that sparked something in me. Is like there are almost like there's almost like a moment, I guess. I always think about when you're a teenage, where you are trying on those different things, right? You're trying to figure out yourself, and that involves almost by nature, there's a space that opens up there for you to try on that persona, or to try on this, or to try on that. And I guess then there's that whole almost crapshoot of like, which become the ones, right? And how do you know?
Well, and I think the other thing that kind of speaks to that too is what when we're thinking about, putting a mask on and what that looks like, right? I love how you said, James, earlier, how you were talking about, sometimes we forget that it's on, and then it just becomes part of our nature, right? That becomes our nature.
Right.
And it's so deep when you think about that. Like that's your nature. What is your nature? What is the place that you function from on a constant, right? And when we think about survival, and we think about the place that we function from, but then also too, it's like wearing this mask is something that I got comfortable in because I'm so confused in my identity, and I'm so desperate to fit in, or I need this for survival. Then it poses the question too, what's the payoff? Right? Because ultimately, that's the most powerful motivator in all of our choices and our decisions. Is there's a benefit. We do something because there's a benefit in it. And it's usually a self-gratifying internal fuel that ignites within us, no matter what the exterior thing might be. But there's an internal payoff that leads us to relying on that, on those masks, on that identity, on that, form of acceptance, on that, whatever that might look like, right? But what's the payoff? What's the benefit? And I think that's really the root question to ask, is what, figuring out what that identity is, or figuring out why it is that we wear the mask is definitely important, but understanding the payoff, because I feel like once we understand the payoff, then we have even that much more awareness, and we're more self-aware, and I don't have to necessarily always do it this way. It doesn't necessarily, my payoff is if it's self-indulgent, if it's selfish, if it's self-absorbed, if whatever the case may be, or if it's survival or whatever. I'm sure that creates more opportunities for us to be like, well, I can get that some other way that's maybe safer or maybe healthier, or ultimately doesn't cause me to suppress, right? Because suppression definitely leads to a lot of pain also. So just kind of thinking about what is the payoff, because we do things because there's a payoff, whether we like to admit that or not. It's the truth. We do things because there's a benefit in there for us, as Eric was talking about earlier, as far as like worth, finding that worthiness, and understanding that, and cultivating that, and that in it and of itself is just a totally different payoff. I think I've said enough. I want to just shut up now.
Nah, you dropping jewels for sure.
All right. It would be remiss of me in this moment to take the opportunity to ask Eric, and I have a feeling maybe if I asked you, you may have a little something with little mama that you can throw in our direction.
Absolutely. It's never too far away. This is my Siamese twin. Definitely. But based on today's conversation and things, I feel like this song will be perfect for this. This is a song called Identity This is, in other words, behind the mask. Haha. Hopefully y'all like this. Let's get it. No lie, yeah. Please feel me, yeah. Identity. Don't lose sight of who you are. Emotions are blinding, but so are the stars. Nobody's perfect, I'm certain we are flaws. Love who you are, be you. Love who you are, be you. Who are you? Who am I? Who are we? How you perceive individually is your identity. But do you know what's seen? And because you are you and I am me, that means we are individually unique. Yourself is the best way to be. Love who you are, be you. Love who you are, be you. I know the semi-fear seeing everything more clearer, cause it'll change what they see when they look in the mirror. And if you say you love yourself, are you sure? How can you love somebody that you don't know? Do you know who you are, or are you finding yourself? Are you so focused on flaws that you blinding yourself? Bro, don't lie to yourself, you gotta be real. Look beyond your imperfections and perfect the way it feel to be comfortable in your own skin. Far from insecure, mistaken honesty with arrogance is kinda immature, cause you can stand without trying when swagging involuntary. I'm in a lane by myself like a cell in solitary confinement, vibing with like-minded folk. The type that stay the same through the flames and won't change when the smoke clear. The type of person that I'm trying to describe could be identified by one word, real. So don't lose sight of who you are. Emotions are blinding, but so are the stars. Nobody's perfect, I'm certain we are flaws. Love who you are, be you. Love who you are, be you. Who are you? Who am I? Who are we? How you perceive individually is your identity. But do you know what's in? And because you are you and I am me, that means we are individually unique. Yourself is the best way to be. Love who you are, be you. Love who you are, be you. Yeah. Am I redeemed? Cause the person that I used to be no longer identifies me. No lie, no lie, no lie. Yeah. Am I redeemed? Cause the person that I used to be no longer identifies me. Oh, yeah. So don't lose sight of who you are. Emotions are blinding, but so are the stars. Nobody's perfect, I'm certain we are flaws. Love who you are, be you. Love who you are, be you. Who are you? Who am I? Who are we? How you perceive individually, yeah, is your identity. But do you know what's in? And because you are you and I am me, that means we are individually unique. Yourself is the best way to be. Love who you are, be you. Love who you are, be you. Yeah, yeah. Love who you are, be you. Love who you are, be you. Hey. No lie.
Yes.
Man, you want to talk about getting deep. You want to talk about having a real and genuine conversation. Thank you so much for your contribution in that conversation. So that leads us right into our reflection question. Something to just think about and ponder about. And so we pose this opportunity, this challenge, and definitely, an invitation for you all to write on the following prompts that we have. And these are our reflection questions for the week. When did I first put on my mask? What did I want relief from? What did I want to get from putting it on? When is it time to take it off? When and how do I go about doing that? That's strong. It's definitely something that I encourage you guys to challenge yourself, to be a little honest and raw and truthful with yourself, and allow yourself an opportunity for some healing and some transition and just some self-awareness. It takes us a long way. Thank you.
let's just leave it with that and call it a night, guys. That's it for the episode.
Hey, it was a good shoot.
It
got
was
kind of deep. It got kind of real up here.
It got kind of thick, huh?
James, why don't you take us home?
All right. So whenever we are working in our circle, we end all of our sessions with a one-word checkout, which is where we can just say how we're feeling right at the end of this time together. I'm going to throw it over to Nikki to get this started.
Loved ones.
Grateful.
Grounded.
Introspective.
And everyone watching, what's your one word? Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for just being here, listening to us and spending this time with us. So also, how we always end anywhere in every space that we ever come into is we do 1, 2, 3, clap. And we do it together, on point, in sync with massive beat control. Are you ready for it? Because we're about to bring it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Killing it. We're masters.
Hey.
All right, let's say goodbye to everyone out there. Bye, everybody. Thank you so
Bye.
much for spending time with us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Bye.